Welcome back to our real estate and home improvement show. Who do you go to for advice on real estate and on life in general, for that matter? I turn to Julie and Tadich because they know a lot about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we've been involved in a lot of transactions all over the planet.
How long have you been in this?
40 years.
40 years. So,
Yep.
and I don't know, do you think you have done 1,000 transactions?
My daughter was just asking me this
Over
the other day.
Yeah, over 1,000 transactions. Yeah. Now, the futurist Malcolm Gladwell says you do something 1,000 times, you're an expert at it. And you guys are experts at this. And it's a crazy time out there in real estate.
It is.
It's
Very
very
crazy.
confusing.
Hard for buyers right now, very hard, especially first-time home buyers.
If I didn't say, it's Julia and Tadich out at Clovis First Real Estate Services. By the way, there's a website, clovisfirst.com, and a phone number on the screen. Where does that phone ring to? Your secretary?
To my phone.
It goes right to you.
Right here.
Right. I always say, don't
And
buy.
I always answer on my phone.
Yeah.
I am not ignoring people.
Don't get the biggest investment in your life from somebody who doesn't answer their own phone.
Right.
Call Julia Tadich. Now, it's confusing right now. Who can buy houses? But there's a market out there. There's loans and stuff.
And you don't get sucked into, you have to have a loan and a mortgage payment that you can afford.
Right.
And any professional, my husband and I both are brokers, we're both professionals, want to make sure that when you buy your house that you're going to be able to make that payment. It's required by my licensing that you have the ability to repay that loan.
Right.
And they do have stated income loans. There are loans out there for people to not qualify. They're back out there. But what comes with that loan is a bigger down payment. You're 65% loan to value, or 30% down, 40% down, or huge interest rates.
Yeah.
And that drives the payment way up.
Right.
And I know we're all desperate to have a place to live, but at what cost?
Yeah.
One of our goals is to make sure that, because what I always share with my clients is, I'm not going to mow your lawn. I'm not going to make your payments.
Right.
Okay? We want to make sure you can make your payment. Okay? So this is why when we're doing loans, we're qualifying them based on ratios that take into account all of expenses as well as the expense of the house.
Which is about their life today, not about what's going to happen in the future. I can put up a what if. Well, what if he's going to get this job or she's going to get this job and there's more income? We can look at that and possibly aim for that, but it has to be the reality of what you are today, right now.
So in reality, what we usually do is we sit them down and we go through a qualification process. We want to see bank statements. We want to see pay stubs. We want to see a history of pay stubs. We want to see an ability to save, hopefully, to have sufficient funds for a down payment. There are programs that allow us to reduce that, but there's still costs that are going to have to be paid.
Yeah.
So first thing we do is we figure out what can they afford to buy. Once we've got that, then we can go to the next step, which is start looking at houses that fit that program. Right now, just today I checked, 372 houses in the Fresno, Clovis area, just to narrow it down, that are on the market. Of those, 50 are new builds on microscopic lots, you know, 2 stories, and you can reach across and hand your sandwich to the neighbor. Or there's existing homes as well. And the prices on those range, of course, from $280,000 for one that's just about bulldoze condition on up to $1.5 million. Yeah. And that's just houses in Fresno and Clovis.
Yep.
You know, so we have things that are available, but prices are going to be what prices are. And part of the profession that we're in is if we're listing a house, we try to set reasonable expectations for our sellers. If they're being told, oh yeah, your house is worth this much, but the market's saying, no, it's worth this much, what have you got? You've got a house that's going to be on the market for 365 days.
This is where we argue the most.
365 days. Of those 376 listings I just talked about, there are 3 that are over a year old.
Wow.
Over 365 days on the market. And I looked at the history on them, not one of them has a price reduction.
They just left it at that price. They're dreamers. Or
Somebody doesn't need to sell.
they don't need to sell that badly,
So it's a hobby.
Now, let's talk about the people who are going to buy for the first time.
Sure.
So they don't have any experience. And I've seen people throw words at them like points and this and that, and they don't know what all these words mean. And I've also seen people who've never bought a house who thinks they're going to talk their way into a loan.
Right.
There's somebody who makes a decision. Who is it? The underwriter?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't get to go argue with the
It's
underwriter, right?
actually, the information is given into a 1003 along with your income documentation, and it's sent to a computer program which either approves or denies,
Approves or
based
denies.
usually on ratios. If you have money in the bank, like a retirement, let's say you maybe have $20,000 or $30,000 in retirement because you've been on the job for a long time, having money in the bank, you can buy it helps you a lot.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Not that
oh,
many.
tremendous.
But
Tremendous.
as far as the points and things like that.
That doesn't
okay,
mean you have to spend that money, that's what you have in
It helps.
assets, yes.
there are fees and costs in the buying of a house. Some are what we call prepaids. That's for taxes and insurance and set-asides so that you have enough to pay the bills when they're due. Okay, those are prepaids. Then, and in the prepaids, the points you're talking about, they're loan fees. She gets paid. Are you shocked? Okay, but it's disclosed, it's clear as to what it is. When we do a transaction together where I sell the house and she does the loan, there's a big old disclosure that we're explaining, okay, here's how we
And
get
if
paid.
you're lucky enough that we sell the house and do the loan for you, we give you $3,000 basically.
Wow.
$1,500 for the house and $1,500 for the loan.
Okay, now, I did this when I was a young realtor 40 years ago, where I find a buddy who wants to buy a house. We drive around, look at houses, look at houses, look at houses. They find one they fall in love with. And I say, okay, well, let's make an offer, and then go talk to a lender, see if you get a loan. That's kind of backwards.
Yes, it's
not kind
always
of, very
been,
backwards.
it's always been backwards.
It's always been backwards. No wonder I didn't last that long in real estate. So,
Because we have to make sure this is what you can qualify for.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't realize they have to deal with what they are, not what the pie in the sky is.
and what is, right? I mean, what you make and
Your
Yes.
income,
Yeah.
your debt, your income history, okay? If you have a degree and you're working in your degree, your time in school counts as your employment
Time on
in
the
that
job.
business,
Huh.
okay? But if you are working at Starbucks, okay, and you have a bachelor's degree in science, you're not counting any of
Not
your
counting
school
the school.
time, but you're counting the time you've been at the job.
Right.
And your income from that, averaged over the last 2 years, plus your most recent month's worth of pay stubs, is your income. Okay, now if you have passive income of some sort, that always helps. Not a bunch of people that are first-time home buyers do
Right.
have passive
I
income.
think what people don't realize is if you have a college degree, your time in school is your time on the job. So if you have a college degree and you have you got a nursing in December, and you buy a house in April or March, because your 4 years in the business was your years in school.
I see.
So a
Wow,
lot of
did
people
not know
don't
that.
realize that, yeah, they have a college degree, and yeah, they're not working within their degree, but they they're working a job, a profession. Then their time in school is
How about if they
counts.
switch jobs but in the same profession?
If it's in the
Doesn't
same
matter.
profession, that's okay.
The time on the job counts.
Time on the
then?
job still counts.
They-
It's 2 years of work history, and we
Or in
like to
school.
have it be in the same field. Sometimes it is, sometimes we can kind of, well, that's similar.
Right.
You're a truck driver, you were a warehouse forklift operator. Okay, those we could kind of equate as to being similar industry. But from a waitress at Huckleberry's to a nurse's office as an MA,
Doesn't really count as
no,
time on the
not
job.
really gonna fit. But that's the income side. Okay, income and work history. Then there's your bank statements showing you're not living beyond your means. They look for things like
I'm the cowboy
overdraft
here.
fees. They look for overdraft fees.
Because that's how you live your
Because
life.
that's showing you're over your limit, okay? Your credit
You're not
report.
living within your means.
Yeah, your credit report, checking that for things like lates, chronic lates.
Yeah.
Okay, the credit scores, of course, are important. And part of the issue for a lot of first-time home buyers is they don't have any idea what their credit is.
Right.
They pay their bills. Just because you pay your bills in a timely manner and don't have any lates doesn't mean you can't have a poor credit score. Because if you are up to the max on any of the limit on your credit card, you
So-
are at higher risk of defaulting than anybody else.
So
So it does affect it.
Probably for me, first-time homebuyers, if they call me, if you have credit problems, call me. I give out tips on how to improve your credit scores that actually work.
Yeah.
And they work within a couple of months. It's not a big, long process.
Oh, and by the way, you're not paying her to do this,
No.
okay? This is something that drives us up the wall. People come in, well, I paid $1,500 to these people, they're fixing my credit.
No.
And all it does is it messes it up because all they've done is told them, okay, you need to contest
And
this, you
that,
need
yeah,
to
that's
disagree with
completely
that.
bogus, by the way. Somebody came to me and said they gave a guy $5,000 to fix their credit. And you know what? I called that person and I told them, give them the money back.
You did.
And they
Yeah.
got the money back.
Wow.
So you've heard that story before. And I don't know why people fall into that trap.
How about this? If somebody's watching and they've never bought a house, they're trying to figure out what they should buy, how much they could afford. They don't know what their credit is. How about they call you
Call me.
and make you the first stop?
Yes,
to go on the
that'd
right
be
path.
great.
And you might say, "Oh, you're not ready to buy right now.
Right.
Go and fix this in your credit, pay this down."
I literally
Give it
will
another
work
year?
with people. I was telling you, I have a client 7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
Right.
We've had clients 5, 6 years. It takes them to fix whatever their problems are, to get a job, to whatever.
Right.
You know, it doesn't take that long to raise your credit scores, but sometimes life, kids, family, that
The worst thing I've seen is people go fall in love with a house, and then they find out, oh,
they can't
it's not
afford-
even in your
that-
range.
That's
Exactly.
what I don't want to happen.
Right.
And that might make you mad, that I'm not gonna let you go look at that $1 million home, but you can't afford it.
Right.
Why would I do that to you? Plus, you're dealing with a seller who's watching people traipse through their houses or come in their houses thinking, oh, I'm gonna have this buyer. And it turns out those people could never qualify.
And it could never qualify. But also, I know you're very giving with your time, but that could burn up your time by taking people to a house they're never going to buy.
Well, they'd love to buy it, but they can't.
Yeah.
Well, we are not shy about placing offers for people with who are qualified and ready to go. I can point you to about 8 or 9 of our clients that we've made over 15 offers on houses to get them their house.
You made 30 for
We
one.
made 30 for one.
It's
And it's not, and it was a very hot market at the time, not surprising.
hard. It's hard. It's hard work. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But we try
You
to
have
set
to
expectations.
Look online, look at houses, and go get out and go look at houses. It's a lot of work.
I can say this story just popped in my head, but my first house was small. It's the starter house. And
Are they even out there anymore?
you know how I bought my second home? Well, the first one cost me everything I had, all my savings and everything. My second one was free because the equity I had built in that
Oh.
first one. So the second one was kind of free in that way, and the third one too. So your first home can help you buy your second and third
Yes.
home.
The challenges we face there is, okay, sometimes we have first-time home buyers that have no experience of owning a house.
Yeah.
Or even caring for a house, or maintaining a house. So we can't very well take them to a place down in the Tower District that needs a tremendous amount of work
Are they
and
still
say,
out
here's
there?
your first home.
A fixer-upper,
Yeah.
right, which they don't know how to
Yeah,
fix them up.
And, exactly, okay, and they don't have the wherewithal to hire a contractor
think
to
that
do all
house
of
that's
those
sold.
things. So we have to balance all of the features, and it's really about what they want and can do. It's a combination, it's not a cookie cutter thing.
Right.
Every transaction we've ever done has been a work of art.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, okay, here you go, bam, done.
Yeah, I don't see any of them are just slam dunks and smooth.
Yeah.
And that's
And
where
we
some
have to be-
experience comes, that you
We
know how to
have to
work
be
through the issues.
willing, we have to be willing, and we are willing to be that person standing in the gap when we just sold a house, this person, and now they have a problem and they don't really understand why it's leaking under the sink, or why the toilet's a problem, or why the sprinklers. And my husband knows how to repair all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he can teach anybody about that stuff. Not that he's gonna do that, but we can point people in directions like
Right direction, yeah.
the home stores where you can go learn how to do that stuff.
Oh, yeah. They
You know,
give
but
those-
we're willing, we have a rental house right now that somebody else's that we're managing, but he's done all the work that needs to be done on it. So he has that knowledge base.
Yeah. we're running out of time. Let's reverse it. People who want to sell, they don't know what their house is worth. Where do they start?
Well, they can call us
Call
again,
you guys.
Shock, and we
Yeah.
can do a market survey. We can take a look at the house, tell them things that they might do that would give them bang for the buck if there was some minor repairs to be done, that type of stuff.
I'm
Sometimes it's
interested in
just,
giving them most money,
Yeah.
most money,
Right.
most money.
Right. Now, you talked about people who misvalue the houses, and they just linger out there on the market for a year, months, a month. Houses should sell, what, 60, 70?
90 days would be the absolute utmost
That
if
should
we're
be
at
the
the
longest.
top of the market.
Yeah.
Okay, and under most realistic conditions, 30 days is more than enough time.
Yeah, 30
But it has to be because it's priced right.
It's another place we get in an argument about, because I'm willing to stick it on the market and keep it there if we can get more
For a while,
money.
yeah.
Yeah. It's-
So you explain that to the seller.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think we can get you more if you're in no hurry. If you're in a hurry, we're going to have to price it for a little
Well,
less.
you know,
Yeah.
a lot of the cash buyers have come in and out of the market. They're still out there.
They're still
I
out
mean,
there.
heck, we own our house. If we sell our house, and we're cash buyers out in the market, whatever
Right.
market we're in.
Cash buyer.
Yeah.
Listen, we've gone overtime. We always go overtime because I love
I
talking to you guys.
know.
You're a wealth of
Well, you're
knowledge and
so
information.
kind, Mike.
I want to tell our viewers, if you're thinking of selling or if you're thinking of buying, and you don't have to buy this month or even this year, go talk to Julia and Tad.
We're patient. We can give you ideas.
Call them, 559-977-3583. But the one thing I know for sure is people should own homes.
Yes.
All the wealth I have is based on me owning
And-
Still
homes.
based on that is.
Get your houses paid
most-
off.
Yep.
Get them paid off. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about paying them off. I don't know how to do that. I seem to buy the next house when I get almost there. Julia and Tad Tadich, Clovis First Real Estate Services. It's free to talk to them. Why not?
And we're fun, actually.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
A lot
They
of
are a
fun.
lot of fun. Clovis First Real Estate. clovisfirst.com is the website. And we will be back with more real estate and home improvement right after this.
Thanks, Mike.